the world is really going south. This whole social distancing and everything has really fucking exploded, guys. Not that I'm super complaining. It gives me a lot of time to do research for you guys and, take some nice deep breaths and focus, Also, speaking of deep breaths, this brings us to this week's episode. I decided to tackle breath play. Now, I'm sure if you've ever choked or been choked by a partner, you've heard the phrase, sides, not the front. Meaning, when you're choking someone, make sure that you press the sides of the throat and not the front. No one wants to have their trachea crushed. I don't care what kind of shit you're into. No one wants their trachea crushed. So for those who don't know what breath play is, I kind of hinted at it a second ago, but whatever. It refers to the practice of having your breath restricted during sexual activity. I don't know why I keep doing that and doing clinical terms for it. It's sex, guys. Fucking sex. Well, not even just fully. I mean, whatever. I guess sexual activity works. It is considered one of the riskiest acts when it comes to kinky sex. It can potentially be fatal, and the risk of injury is extremely high if it's not done correctly. And also, you got to have a partner you trust. I will be honest that this is one of those fetishes I actually do enjoy, and I do know the risk. You're essentially putting your life in the hands, so to speak, of your partner and hoping that they don't kill you. I've obviously not died yet. I'm still here. Hi. But I did have an experience from years ago. This was a while ago. With someone who choked me, and I ended up blacking out for a really short second. It wasn't that long. I saw stars, and then I went black. And I always make jokes about it to him every single time. So, so before I get into the fun sides of this, I want to first go over some risks. I want all you beautiful people to be aware of the risky side and stay alive out there. Please, for the love of God, don't let anyone choke you to death. This is, yeah. So first, in order to do this safely, you and your partner need a really good, solid understanding of the neck and anatomy in order to avoid cutting off the circulation. And, the kind of circulation that ends in injury or death. Like I said, on the sides, not the front. We are not crushing the trachea. Please don't do that. You just pinch the sides of the neck a little bit. Good Google search will help you out. Talk to people who do it often. Really, really do your research and make sure you completely understand the risks and everything that goes along with this. Please, for the love of God. Safe words aren't enough. Obviously, if the person's being choked, they can't really talk. So that's not really going to work. So you need, 2 extra layers of protection. You need a safe gesture, and you also need a partner who continuously checks in on you. Not someone who just chokes you and just kind of goes along with it and is like, oh, fuck it, whatever. No, you need someone who will check on you to make sure that you're doing okay and that you have enough gestures going that if something's wrong, you can make something, whether it be hitting them or making some form of movement with your hand or something, or your eyes, or just something in general to indicate that something's not right and they need to stop. There's an extra risk if your partner has asthma or any other lung or breathing conditions, which should be pretty standard. You should understand that. If someone has asthma, they already have a hard time breathing, so you just really need to set up those boundaries and those gestures ahead of time so that you don't risk murdering them. And then, obviously with the lung and breathing conditions, same thing. It really is all about communication. It's a huge thing. There's always a chance for error, and there are plenty of, there's different things out there. So they make these masks. I lost my train of thought there for a second. That's what that was. They're not always foolproof. either. You could get stuck trying to get the mask off, and some of those masks restrict your breathing. So if you start panicking and having a panic attack, I know I get a panic attack. Sometimes I get really claustrophobic, so that's why I could never do a mask, because I could not have something like that on my face. But so, you could have issues. Oh my god, sorry. Getting your mask off, so it's difficult. And then, or you could have your partner and they're unable to get the mask off in the heat of the moment. So you really need to understand your partner and how they react to certain situations. And you need your partner to understand that if you're the one being choked or you're wearing one of these masks that restrict your breathing, that you need a specific something to get you out of it if something is not okay. You know, it really just comes down to communication. So, with all these risks, if you're still interested, there are safe ways or even alternatives to this. You can hold your own breath and you can experiment with a breath ritual. You can try to hold your own breath while you masturbate as well. I don't That kind of goes into, it's holding your breath. It's not choking yourself, which goes with the autoerotic asphyxiation, which I'm actually just going to talk about in a second. But um, it literally, it's just holding your breath. It's like as if you're going to go underneath water in a pool. So if you do that while you're masturbating, you can do that. Like I said, you can practice all this stuff at home by yourself instead of with a partner, or like you could even do it with a partner and just hold your own breath instead of having them choke you or wearing a mask or having them cover your face or do any of those things that could really risk your life. I will be honest, I know all the risks. I know that they seem really scary. I'm not always one for risking my own life, but there is a certain kind of rush that I get when I'm being choked in the moment. And then the release that comes as soon as they release it. It's really great, guys. I highly recommend it. But again, you need communication and you need to be safe with your partner. So another side of this is the it's the autoerotic asphyxiation. I don't know why I wrote self, because it's erotic asphyxiation is the choking, whatever, belts, whatever. Autoerotic is what you usually, is yourself. You're doing it to yourself. So usually you see this associated with those who kind of kill themselves accidentally while masturbating. It usually involves choking yourself, be it with a belt or a rope or some form of something to choke themselves. Done wrong, it can go very, very badly. This one isn't so much relying on your partner, it's relying on yourself. I personally could never do it because something could go wrong and you could just lean too much, and then all of a sudden you're choking yourself out and then you're stuck. Like, especially if you have something wrapped around your throat and you're tied to, say, like a door or something, and you're leaning forward and then you pass out. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to lean forward and you're going to choke yourself to death and you're going to die. So that's one of those things you really need to have safeguards in place if that's something that you're going to do. Now, just, a small amount of history for you. The earliest documentation of this is from the 17th century when it was used as a cure for erectile dysfunction. Apparently, people saw that men who were hung, and not in the way that you're thinking, you naughty people, they died with erections. There's also something about, after you die, sometimes you ejaculate, so that's weird. So it could be from that, it could just be all your body stuff going out, but it was also seen that a lack of oxygen to the brain encouraged men to experience longer and more intense orgasms. It's not just men, guys. I have had experiences in the past where and this is what I was talking about earlier, as soon as they released it, I had the most intense orgasm fucking ever, and it was just crazy. I did learn a fun fact. A person engaging in this act is sometimes known as a gasper. So, and that's Gasper with a G, not Casper with a C, like the friendly ghost. We're not getting spooky up in here. So, everyone is entitled to their own fetish and fantasy. just make sure you do it safely and with a trusted partner. Also, make sure you do everything legally and with consent. I like me some dirty sex, but I like it more when my partner is respectful and knows my limits and, everything is consensual. And, I'm going to end up repeating the safety throughout this whole series because with anything, any fetish you do, the main key is to be safe and to have consent with all of it. Some of the more intense stuff, I believe the next episode that I'm recording is a little bit, actually, I feel like it's more dangerous than this is. But it's one of those things. A lot of these it's important to have consent, and it's always important to have a partner who understands you and understands your body, and you guys have safeguards in place just in case something goes wrong. And I don't mean the I fell on the floor in the middle of sex go wrong, because that sometimes is hilarious. But it's the potential to have your life taken from you because something went wrong during sex. We can all laugh and have like a good time talking about people who like got sent to the emergency room because of sex, which is a really great show, by the way. If you ever want to watch it, it's called Sex Sent Me to the ER. But you really don't want that. You want to try to be as safe and as much as you can. So enough of that. I know that I've gotten a little more serious, and I'm sorry, but some of these things require the seriousness in order to get the point across to be safe. So thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate it. Please keep sharing. Make sure they subscribe to it. Please go on Apple Podcasts if you can, if you have access to it. Give me 5 stars. I don't give a shit if you don't think it's 5 stars. Fucking give me 5 stars, guys. And, just thank you guys for the support. I'm sorry that I was gone for so long, and now I'm trying to really make up ground and record a bunch. I'm literally recording 3 episodes tonight so that I can be prepared to have everything released on fucking time this time. And with being stuck in quarantine, I've written out 5 episodes in a day and a half. So, whatever. Thank you. Have a good day, evening, night, afternoon. I'm like fucking everything up. Don't care. Whatever time of day it is for you. And I will, oh my God. Apparently I need fucking sleep, and I will talk to you guys next time, okay? Thanks, guys. Bye.